Our college basketball guest by now, or if you're just joining us, we're having some audio problems from Madison Square Garden. The NIT championship game between Penn State and Minnesota. But first off, let's do it.
Okay, first of all, for the Golden Gophers of Minnesota, Jacobson, Harris, Clark, Lewis, and Kyle Sen. And Kyle was a little bit ill at the shoot-around today. He has problems with dehydration, so we'll watch him tonight. The starters for Penn State: Crispin, Lasicki, Ivory, Jackson, and Booth. And, of course, for Titus Ivory, they need another big game out of him. He was outstanding. 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals in the semifinal game on Tuesday evening. We apologize for the audio problems that we have had, but we are set and ready to go. Two teams from the Big Ten. First time, as I said, since 1979, the same conference has had 2 clubs in the championship. That also was the Big Ten. Minnesota goes on offense, and
Ron Franklin. Penn State goes, wait a minute. Run their sets. I think the big matchup is Jacobson. How he has played. Do they post him up? Titus Ivory has that assignment right now.
Harris drove, passed up the shot. Here's Clark, and he does not pick up where he left off, but rebounded by Quincy Lewis.
I have bad news for Penn State. Kevin Clark feels weak, he told me. He was terrible, he said, on Tuesday. Just weak today.
I told Clem he should have had his feet in ice water all day. Lewis off the mark on the shot. Clark and Crispin battle for it, and Lasicki comes away with it for Penn State.
Booth will get a touch. What he does is important, and how he's guarded. Everybody stays honest. Nice dive by Lasicki. I think he learned that going without the basketball from his father, who went to LaSalle College.
Jerry Dunn, third-year man out of George Mason. His team got here by defeating Rider, Dayton, Georgia Tech, and of course they won in their semifinal game on Tuesday evening against Georgia.
Lasicki, a tough guy to guard, Ron, because he uses picks. We've seen that. You've seen it during the course of the year. And Minnesota's going to have to trail and have contact on him. He is a load to cover. Always in motion.
Plus the fact it's the last time he's going to wear this uniform. There are no more games for him. And all these guys want to see him go out and do extremely well.
Absolutely. Wonderful free throw shooter. This has been a great year for both teams. In January, I'm sure they're all wondering where their wins were going to come from.
I'm sure Clem did after he started off 0-6 in the Big Ten.
Oh, what a tough start. I'm sorry, with a kick out.
3 on the way, and so far, Minnesota ice cold. Here's Booth.
Clark on Crispin. They're going to put Harris on him eventually, and they're going to have to be honest with him. They don't want any gambling. We've seen Joe with his magic show, huh? Some great little maneuvers.
Joe really played well the other night. And Bill, don't you think they have to look to him for more scoring tonight with the absence of Jared inside?
Yeah, they're going to have to step it up. Of course, Booth, 2 touches, 2 trips. He'll provide a lift. Good help.
Lasicki.
You know what scared me about Crispin? He knew who Bob Cousy was. Wow, is that deep?
3 on the way, and that could have been a 4. He was so long with the shot. In and out until there's a lid on both ends, and there's a foul in the backcourt on Titus Ivory. Minnesota, 19 wins, 15 losses. We were just talking about him. He is an outstanding teacher. 12 years at Minnesota, 9-1 in NIT play. Won this tournament in 1993. And probably one of the most important things that you can say about this man, and for Jerry Dunn at the other end as well. Their kids not only learn a lot on the basketball court, good education off the court as well.
And they are demanding. They're much like your parents would be.
That's right.
How you should act, dress, think, and Sam is thinking, let's fill it up. Nice little fade for the J.
Mr. Jacobson says, Sam, I am.
And he has been for 4 years. Here's the match. Harris on Crispin. Don't gamble was the comment by the coaches.
When you look at 2 guys playing their last time wearing these uniforms tonight, and with Jacobson and Lasicki, I mean, a lot of records, a lot of memories going by the board here tonight.
Well, there sure are. meant so much to their teams. That time, Crispin, a little bit of a gamble. I don't know if Michael could have gotten that one when he played against the Knicks. Crispin's brother, they won a state championship down there. Not the tournament champions, but their group. He said he's the second most important man in basketball. And look at this guy go to the hole. He's got some strength, doesn't he? Jacobson.
Here are the recaps. I mentioned that they had played twice this year during the regular season. Penn State won the first one 75-68. And Bill, the interesting thing about that second game of the 18th of February, Minnesota won it by 5, but they were down by 15 at halftime, 43-28. They came back, and it was this guy who was at the line right now who provided the impetus for the win, so to speak.
You know what? You get a kick out of this, too. You talk to different programs about that game. And we talked to Penn State, they coughed it up. And if we talked to Minnesota, their defense made them cough it up. So somewhere in the middle, they've got to value the basketball, Penn State, though. It's very important they be sound against this tenacious, and they'll jump out at you, Minnesota defense.
Well, speaking of that, Miles Tarver checks in, and Sandin goes to the bench. And, of course, for Miles, they don't look for big points, but they look for strong post defense.
Oh, he gave them some lift here.
He had a couple of really outstanding plays in that game that turned out to be game turners.
And he moved the legs and sealed off the baseline. Here he's got both tough assignment. There's their favorite little play. Good help by Miles, gets the foul. That is pretty. That's one of their favorite plays. The defense helps, and they slide to the goal. Usually it's Jared Stevens. Unfortunately, it will not be this evening.
Interesting, in talking with him last night, he said Larry Brown from Georgia had visited with him a couple of times, in fact again last evening, and Jared said that Brown felt as bad about the injury as he did, and it was good to hear that the two had an opportunity more than once to talk. And he said, you know, hey, it was in the heat of battle. I'm sorry it happened, and he's sorry it happened.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, really. As noted last night, players don't know how to give fouls.
Yeah.
It's just so important. Be strong, aggressive, but don't do anything that'll cause problems.
Lewis misses on the drive for the hoop. Lisicky keeps it alive for Penn State, and here come the Lions. 4-2 if you just joined us. Gophers, another turnover. Neither coach is happy right now.
No, he saw Joe Crispin hit Jackson. He was a foot away. He'd be counting the chicklets like he was last night. Good help by Sam Jacobson.
Harris dishes it off, and that's an offense.
I'll tell you what happened there. He got pushed from the rear. That's what caused the problem. And he's explaining to Ted Valentine, Eric Harris. He was in traffic. The big bodies behind them caused the problems.
Well, the last time, look at this, 25, and that was a season high. Now, I talked about playing the inside by committee. Carl Jackson, 54, has just gone to the bench. And number 23, Jossie Klein-Hurd, has come into the lineup.
Now, he gave them good minutes the other night.
Sure did, Bill. You're right.
Defensively, he can do some damage on the low block, tips. Here's their back screen series, and they just spread it and get an easy one. Great look. Lisicky, he can do more than shoot.
So Joe has got his first 2 of the night. Before that, both teams combined 1 field goal and 6 turnovers. Now there is a second field goal.
Nice adjustment. Everybody knows one another plays so well. From the 2 games and all the preparation, they're jumping out on doubles.
Harris gets the screen out high, but he's well off the mark. And there's Klein-Hurd. Gathers his first rebound. He has a good knack for going to the board. Only a freshman, but seems like a good innate ability on that.
Heredity, maybe, huh?
Yeah.
Dead guard. This is where Kevin is magnificent.
Clark with the finger roll. If he had been any weaker, he wouldn't have made it.
I'll tell you, they're going to have to get some supplement, maybe a Clark bar, huh? He has stepped his game up at the right time of the year.
Titus Ivory. Well, Titus only averages 6.5 points a game, and as I mentioned, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals in that semifinal game on Tuesday, and he's kind of picking it up for him.
And for Minnesota, I think Quincy has to pick it up to Lewis down on the block. They see something else against Booth. He can fill up a Booth. Kevin Clark.
Well, he's warming him up now. 8-7, Gophers by 1. About to have played the first 6 minutes of this opening half.
Good help defensively. Jamming it up. Tarver's got to be concerned about Booth's screening as well.
Jacobson almost caused the turnover. This one can't get it. The tip inside won't go.
And that's his game. He has been tough, banging, and they're trying to make up for Stevens.
You know, we need to keep up with tonight. Add the points of Klein, Hurd, Jackson, and also Greg Stevenson, and see if they amount to what Jarrett Stevens normally would bring to the table.
And Tarver with a rearrangement, everything but look pretty, but no points.
Good dish, but Kevin Clark was the recipient, and it maybe got a little bit too much gingerbread on it.
I think so. There's a little yolk on his brow right now. Get him a towel. Well, good things can happen on center ice here in New York, and bad things. Unabashed, Kevin Clark. There's a little screen down for Jacobson. And that was a good defensive reaction, though.
Sam Jacobson again, the senior out of Cottage Grove, Minnesota. Played at Park Senior.
There's a little twirl series. Back screen, constant motion, down screen, and an open look.
This one off the mark. There's Tarver.
He thought that one was down. I did too.
The way he turned around and came back out.
This is the guy with the hand check there. Little nickel dimer by Jody Sylvester.
The officials tonight, Mike Kitts, Jody Sylvester, and Ted Valentine. So there's a ton out on the floor as we look at Clark. No, a little too fancy. Minnesota by a couple.
This is one of a kind. This is a very sensitive environment.
Got here. Minnesota, Colorado State, UAB, Marquette, and Fresno, and that one in overtime the other night. And they had to get a prayer by Quincy Lewis to send it into overtime. And for Penn State, this is how it happened for Jerry Dunn and his guys. Ryder, Dayton, Georgia Tech. That was a big win in Atlanta. And then over a Georgia team that won decisively in the consolation game tonight. And that's how they got here to this championship game. As you take a look at Jerry, and his twin is here tonight. We'll get another shot of him if you didn't get to see him on Tuesday evening.
And you tell us the difference, folks.
We'll start saying you see one, you see the other.
And I think that Georgia Tech game proved a lot to Jerry and the coaching staff. Coming from behind, tough situation, away court. Nice duck in here by Sandin, and nice help by Lisicki. You got to help your post people. Giving up that low area. There he is. Mom alongside. He's as nervous as he could be, he told me before the game. Not much he can do sitting in the stands, but room. Little turnover by Nathaniel.
Kevin Nathaniel, freshman out of California, Camarillo High School. Kevin spent some time in the Air Force. He is listed as a freshman, but not an 18-year-old who is immature.
He's been around, is what you're suggesting. That service
he's
life.
earned his stripes. Under 12 minutes to play, opening half. Championship of the National Invitation Tournament. And Lisicki too hard off the front of it. You know, that's something else that could happen, which Pete is very capable of doing. That's putting the team on his shoulder and carrying them.
Well, that particular nice pass here. Oh, you got to test three. Too long. They got a double dribble. He was in there. He could have paid his room bill. He was in there that long.
What goes downstairs alone or in pairs and even goes off-road? A thing, a marvelous thing. Everyone knows it's amigo. Amigo, amigo, for sun and love and joy.
dominating with power moves.
I kidded him last night that possibly he should have a couple of steaks at the dinner, because at 6'11", he still only weighs, what, 205 pounds.
He is slight, but quick and can start fast breaks. Broxy in against him now. He can get up as well. He's a good shot blocker on his own merits.
Quincy Lewis off to a cold start tonight. He's had some decent looks. Can't get him to go down.
Pretty.
Nice job there, and Lewis just picked up his second foul. Well, tune into Classic Sports tomorrow for the 1991 National Semifinals between the Duke Blue Devils and the UNLV Runnin' Rebels. Mike Krzyzewski is going to be on hand as a special guest host. Now, to get Classic Sports by ESPN, call your local cable operator or satellite provider.
Well, one of the options Minnesota has is playing straight up or going and doubling the box. And here we're going to see a double on the box. And look at the dive. Nice little play and a good read by Jussie Klein-Hurd. And that's what you have to do. If they take it away, find the hole against the defense.
So that's 3 team fouls. Check it. 4 team fouls against the Gophers. And as we mentioned, Quincy Lewis with a couple of those.
And Jacobson now screen down, and it'll post him too. And he can elevate over most people. Makes this jump shot or sets his game up.
Kevin Nathaniel looks up at the shot clock, and it is now under 10. Screen for Jacobson out high. Somebody got to do something here.
Ooh.
And it's Quincy.
The money man.
Yep. Suspends and knocks it down. That's his first 2 points of the night.
And Ron, weren't you impressed how he was patient with that three-point shot? Got his foot back the other night.
Oh, Clem said today at the shoot-around, you know, that he was really impressed with that. That they're going to call a push on Jacobson.
Well, there's something about Quincy and shots late in shot sequences, huh? And Jacobson played very well, but here you get in the lane. Look how high he lofts this. And that's one way of taking Booth out of the game. A lot of college guys don't have that shot, though, that high, lofty, tantalizing release.
Clem said when he went back and looked at that thing, though, he was even more impressed with the fact that he had the presence of mind to step back. Otherwise, they would not be here in this championship game.
This is a good passing. Now they're going to get steps here. But this is a good passing Penn State team. Nice catchable bounce pass there.
6 turnovers.
Yeah, valuing the ball. And that was their concern, particularly after the Minnesota game in Minneapolis.
Well, I mentioned earlier on Tuesday, in their first 3 games, 10 turnovers, 11 and 11. So they've been taking care of the basketball game in the NIT.
And that's the difference. That's why they've elevated their game. This is where Miles can help him. Get some inside points. Well, against that guy, you don't get any free releases.
Now Booth with his first block of the night. That's 138. And again, that nice soft touch.
And run away from the double. Pretty heady move. Double came top side, he spun baseline.
Falling away. Can't get it. Here's Booth. Out of a pass to Graves. Graves shows a quick first step.
And quick release, too. Could have run their set there. Not one Jerry would enjoy.
Harris back to Jacobson.
How easy is this game? Drive, draw, deliver. Both the pass and the knockdown.
So Sam with double figures. He's got 10.
I got the feeling his shirt's going to be up in the rafters at Williams, don't you?
Yeah, I would hope so.
And they go with the double, and they spot up. Graves with the deep one again. They're settling a little bit. Minnesota forced them to make decisions.
Just inside the three-point line. He is off the mark there. And Booth with another rebound. He has 4.
Quick half run. Not a whole lot of fouls. Not small chain. There's a foul on the jumper by Jacobson. That's 2 he didn't need. The one near the sideline, the old force-out rule. Would have
That
helped
one,
him.
he whacked him pretty good. So Stevenson, who is a 64% free throw shooter, is going to go to the line.
And you can see how easy this call is as he follows through, gets a piece of the chin. That'll throw your jump shot off. Mentioned Stevenson's brother, such a talented performer at Richmond. Great run by Richmond. John Beeline with a wonderful year.
That kind of foul also will throw your bite off.
Your bicuspids would be in danger, huh? And you were part of the entertainment committee, I understand, providing a little entertainment to the teams at the dinner, chat with the coaches, and went to the show yourself, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, but it was not really part of the entertainment thing.
Well, you entertain me when I'm out with you.
Our most entertaining thing was getting rear-ended in our cab headed to the theater.
Wow. Well, I guess you'll own half of Manhattan when this case is over.
Oh, I'll tell you, my neck is stiff.
Jack Powers and his committee do a great job giving all these players a chance to get a taste of the apple. What about the domination inside? You don't get any easy looks. In that man's booth, he rings the bell. And offensively, the ability to spin away from traffic and still deliver the knockdown.
Does this classic 33 Ford and this new GMC Suburban have in common? They both exhibit the products and quality that R&R is known for. R&R does complete custom interiors for any car or truck, including collectibles and street rods and boats. For seat repairs
Is Deadeye Curtis Staples. And from Kansas, Billy Thomas. And how about the slam dunk competition? Look out for Felipe Lopez. And from Cincinnati, Ruben Patterson. That's all tonight right here when we're done with this one. I want to put a period on what you were talking about just a moment ago. Jack Powers and his committee here at the NIT. It is a great thing on the night off that not only dinner at the Tavern on the Green, but the kids get to go to the theater. And like Clint Haskins said, he said, I tell my kids, you can go to a movie anytime or a basketball game anytime. When you're in New York, this is something that's part of your education. You need to do it. So they all went to the theater last night.
And you took advantage of the free meal, too, knowing your taste in life. Nice coordinated defense there by Penn State.
Grays at the other end.
It always pays off, doesn't it? You get some assistance underneath, you're going to get some good looks at the other end.
Clark wanted the shot badly, but Lisicky was right there.
Good control there. Tell you, he just pushed the ball away. That could have been stolen. That's a heads-up play in traffic by Sam Jacobson.
Witkowski, we didn't see him the other night. Big freshman, Littleton, Colorado. They're using even a fourth man by committee in the middle.
So you're going to count them all, huh? They might as well. And that's what they're going to have to do without the big guy, Stevens. Look at the locked low by Witkowski. That is out of the ballpark. And his heel on the timeline. He does have some range.
He really does. Broxy is the man who came away with that long carom because of the length of the shot. Harris, nice dish. And Antone Broxy scores.
Not too bad a look is right. Pretty good hands by Broxy.
Tied at 18. We are just over 5 minutes left until halftime in this 1998 National Invitation Tournament Final. Stevenson. One dish too many.
Oh, look at that catch.
Count the hoop by Jacobson. He'll go to the line, and the foul is going to be on Carl Jackson.
Senior play, don't you think?
Yeah.
Harris with the look, the courage to make the delivery. And Sam Jacobson, this looked like a steal by Lisicky. Goes right by him, and just marvelous hands to gather, and the strong little slide by, the affectionate little kiss at the end makes it easy. And look at that English. That is gorgeous and a lot of practice. Making him in traffic. Steps you up in play.
2 fouls on Jackson.
What a night he had there. Tuesday night with 24.
13 points waits for Jacobson, and he will get a breather.
And I think those 2 fouls probably a good time to get him out.
So that means that number 20, Quincy Lewis, the junior out of Little Rock, will come back into the lineup.
And right now, Clem trying to go loose on a little flat 3-2. Sean Rock in the back, very aggressive performer.
We didn't see him the other night.
He just got one. It doesn't take him long. Former manager, it's a wonderful story. JC guy last year, he was counting towels. This year he's demanding one. He just likes to make sure you're welcome when you come in the living room.
So he's got 5 seconds and 1 foul. But you're right, it is a great story.
This is a quickie, Ron. Bob Mulhern played at Seton Hall, and he told a buddy of his on the bench, late in the game, I'm going to get my name introduced more than yours. He got in, they introduced him, John Condon. He got 5 fouls in less than a minute because he won the soda for that evening. Not that Rob's going to do that. Now, this is deep and quick. Now, that's not Minnesota basketball.
Klein Hurd on the outlet pass, and I mean, that's what it looked like. It looked like a down and out.
I can't get over Kevin Clark's speed. He recovered. I didn't think he could even, I thought it was going to be a layup for Hurd.
Back to a 1-point ball game.
Which eventually it was, obviously, because he gambled. Nice penetration. That's more like Minnesota.
Quincy Lewis. Then at the other end, and a nice job of transition defense. That's going to stay with Penn State.
And you are right. Clark with a great save. Effort not ready. But the passes seem to be made by the upperclassmen. Just a great look on the money as Kevin Clark gambles. And Chassie Klein Hurd sends it in. It was a perfect trap.
Gray's all alone for 3.
And give it a assist. Lisickie's had 3 wonderful looks that I can remember.
So we're about to hit the 4-minute mark, tied at 23. Turnover, Minnesota. Harris lost it, and then he knocks it away.
And nobody saw it. You're right.
So Sanford didn't turn around. Stevenson. Klein Hurd will pick up the foul. That's 2 on him.
And Sanford always gives them a lift. Jason, they started playing him a little more. An emotional stimulant for Minnesota.
So the championship game, just under 4 minutes to play in this opening half, tied at 23. We'll be right back.
Don't worry.
Well, lighted up, nothing but nylon, but just the experience and feel. And how many assists does he have? 4.
4, yeah.
Now, he's made some other plays that have not been considered assists where he's passed it to half court and then a dribble or the pass that leads to the pass. So he has been solid.
Well, his head coach talked to us about what a good passer he was. And, you know, with a kid like this, very, very unselfish. Doesn't just have to score to be happy. Well, Jackson back in the ball.
He's like Gretzky here at the guard. He gets a hand in on assists.
Clark, 3-pointer. Really got a shooter's roll on that one. That thing bounced around 4 times.
You got to admire him. You just want to stay in bed, but he got that flu bug. Straight up Minuteman. Sean Rock's going to have to do a job on Booth. I don't think he can control him if they use him. Nice slip pass. That's where they're so good.
Jackson. And I think Sean Rock has just picked up his second, hasn't he?
Yes. Our overhead look will see the ability to slip. Now there's the screen, and you're just going to see he staggers, gets himself right to the rim. That's pretty basketball. Timing is so important in life. Position is everything. Location. And Jackson found it in the 3-second lane.
Jackson only a 57% free throw shooter. 1-point ball game again. Harris.
He didn't stroke it.
He's done a good job on Lisicki. Only 1 point. But as we mentioned, the 4 assists.
How about that kick out, Ron? For an open look for Crispin. Jackson with a great look.
So the Lions go back up by 2, and at the other end, Coach Jackson. That's 3.
Yeah, that really, they were livid with the call.
Jody turned around quickly, though, to the bench and said, Jerry, not too much.
He had it. This is just great basketball. He doesn't have anything, feels the double, and look at the time. Nobody able to recover. College guys aren't used to that, recovering from one trap to the next one. They'll do the double of the box, but now rotating back, tough, hard, closing out. Not in their game at this stage.
Greg Stevenson quickly comes off the bench, and just as quickly, Carl Jackson sits down with his 3rd foul, and I'm sure we won't see him again in this first half. Crispin against Jacobson. And Booth is off the mark.
Now that one he didn't stroke, Ron. He shot all the other ones. That one he didn't have the rotation.
Well, tomorrow night on ESPN, it's the women's national semifinals, 7 o'clock. It is North Carolina State taking on Louisiana Tech. Then at 9 o'clock Eastern, an SEC rematch. Arkansas against Tennessee, all tomorrow on ESPN. Ron Franklin, Bill Raftery, coming to you from the Garden in New York City, and a reject there, Bill.
Yeah, Miles Tarver right where he should be, looking to help. Here he is again. Nice. Kiss. Semi. Jump hook. He just
looked as though he was in a phone booth, kind of tiptoeing around there and got it.
He's so much taller to him. He's got great vision over everybody on the defensive end.
For a good cut.
And it just defensively elapsed as Sam Jacobson saw all the heads, vision on the basketball. Nice dive to the 10.
He's got 15.
Steps. Well, some nights when you play Princeton, you see this, a little back screen. That is gorgeous basketball. And even a guy who can dominate down the block area can't recover, as Calvin was dragged high with the position and deployment. Solid play by Minnesota.
Golden Gophers by 1.
Tough match for Crispin. Look at Booth helping. Now, if Tarver could ever make that shot, would he be dynamite in that look?
Clark with the finger roll.
He's got it all. Come on, big guy. He likes challenges. Big heart, number 10.
Well, Clark's now got a dozen, quietly.
I'd hate to see him healthy. It'd probably be terrible. Pretty much as we both felt, even game.
Yeah. Crispin, boy, real tight on him is Eric Harris. Almost a turnover, and it was touched last by Minnesota.
Oh, Clem is really into it. I'm sure he said the nice things to Jody. You know, a little smile. Crispin has a lot of moxie out there. You just love watching him. A lot of confidence.
Shot clock is at 3. It is at 2. And he threw it back over his head.
Good challenge defensively, though. Solid on the ball. Nose to nose. D. Eric Harris. And this is the ball. And look at Clem. And he really goes after it. Come on, Jody. Give me a look. He can't use his left, Clem.
9 turnovers against Penn State in this first half alone. We're under a minute.
Great shot, too. And you know he was just having some fun with Jody. Good denial by Stevenson, excuse me.
Well, coming up at the halftime, NCAA Final Four report. Northwestern woes and Tractor Trailer moving on. .2 seconds left until halftime. Well, Jerry Dunn was really upset a moment ago, and he and Crispin were talking as they came back up the floor, and Jerry kept saying, I called play number 2.
And you know, the ball was on the floor. Once you start dribbling a little too much, you can't get into whatever number the coach calls. This is just a case at the end where all he's trying to do, but this is pretty heady play. And you got that little left delivery. even with help from above, that would have been tough to go down.
And I have a feeling Joe has made a few of those on the playground. When you average 32 a game in high school, you can shoot from everywhere.
A few, would you say? Maybe one, huh?
A couple, yeah.
He does have a great attitude. Took over this position. Danny Earl hopefully will get that 6th year because of injuries next year. Let's see what Sam will run off his timeout, Ron.
Well, to show you how close this game has been, 15 lead changes, and the largest lead only 3 points.
High dive, pick and roll.
Harris, high off the glass. Wow.
What a little smooch.
So this is the largest lead of the night. Minnesota by 5.
Send Eric home, huh? Doing a good job on Lisicky. He hasn't gotten too many touches.
Let alone looks. You're right.
Tough shot.
Crispin falling away. The tip inside won't go. We're at halftime. And particularly the final 5 minutes. This is a 6-0 run by Minnesota, but the final 5 minutes, defense, very, very good.
They stepped it up, Ron.
So let's take a break. Gophers 35 and Penn State 30. Let's head back to the studio. It's halftime.
All right, Ron, and thank you very much. Game started off a little bit sloppily, but that Big Ten defense setting in. We've got a tight one and a good second half coming up. Well, while the Big Ten has a shining moment in the Big Apple with the crowning of another NIT champion, no matter who wins tonight, much more on a basket by freshman Herb Wilkinson, fitting since the average age of the World War II ravished Utes, just over 18. The school, which counts hotel magnate Bill Marriott and singer Bobby McFerrin as alums, later produced 1980 U.S. Olympian Danny Brains and, of course, 15-year NBA veteran Tom Chambers. So naturally, when you think tradition this week, certain images come to mind. Only one can be champ this year, but all 4 can swap title stories. Whether it's shades of red or blue, you can get it all Sports Center at the Final Four starting Thursday and continuing through championship night on Monday. We're back after this.
Kevin Clark. He doesn't need aspirin. He's got a little head cold and playing through it. Look at those numbers. The combination plus the rest of the team. That's extraordinary.
So it's interesting that both of them in the first half, 5 of 7, 15 points and 12 points respectively, with Jacobson with the 15. So we're set to go to open this second half, and who will wear the crown for 1998? I mentioned in the second meeting, Minnesota was down by 15 at halftime. Came back and won it by 5. They lead this one by 5 at halftime.
And we both noticed Lisicky not getting good shots even in warm-ups, Ron, and they're playing them very well. So if you don't get a lot, look at this. The elevation, Booth continues to be flawless around the rim. But to finish Lisicky's throw, I think he's got to score now. He's had 4 assists, but he hasn't gotten good looks, so he's not getting the screens.
You know, interesting. Broxy starting the second half rather than Sandin. We talked about he had some problems at the shoot-around today. Dehydration. As that ball is blocked. And there's Broxy. Can't get it to go.
I'll tell you, Booth will give you dehydration. As Clark got to the rim, and the big guy was lingering. That's a good screen here.
Got him open. Rattles it home.
Well, he's got to run, and they got to screen. That's his game.
So Minnesota held him quiet as far as the field goal for one half, but that's not going to be the case, it appears, in the second half. We're tied.
Confident shooter. Wow.
Kevin just became unconscious in that second half the other night, and if he starts off that way, then Jerry's got some real headaches also.
They're both of them are guarding one another, but that's the way to go. They can't find a way. Singly, Broxy's going to come out now because he's having a hard time with Booth.
That ball is blocked by Booth.
Happy days are here again, huh? A lot took place in a booth. Extraordinary presence.
Crispin. Lisicky. Now that one was way beyond the NBA 3. That's something, but Pete's got the green light on, though.
He sure does. There's a nice use of the screen again. That's a better look. Well, they got one, huh? Broxy retaliating.
The other end, Quincy Lewis reverses it and scores.
Nice experience. He just took the legs diagonally across the big guy. Took him away.
Rapid pace to open the second half in the first 2.5 minutes here. Both teams shooting extremely well. In the first half, conversely, nobody did. It was kind of harem-scarum.
And look at them working now. That's what they do well. A little slip by Jackson. Great defense again by Broxy.
Broxy with another one. He says, hey, I've been in the booth at the other end. I want to be the booth at my end.
Well, he started up at his booth. A little shuffle cut. A little pick and roll now. Slide behind. A little switch by Booth now. He can take him with the bounce.
Jacobson, great dish to Quincy Lewis.
You got to help when the defense steps up. Nice dive. And Sam acknowledges. Somebody's got to make a stop here one of these trips.
We have played 3 of the second half. 42-37, just where we were at halftime, a 5-point margin.
And making them use time. They get a screen away foul. And Kevin Clark. Will, you run some good stuff, and if you got inside defense, the last available strength. Broxy, early in the year and looking at tape, waited until the elevation, but right here you see Sam draws 2 and finds goal with the dish. And Broxy early in the year held his own, I think, shot blocking.
Yeah, he did. Sandin comes back in the lineup. Broxy is out, and a nice give on the inbounds pass as Klein Hurd jams it home.
And Ivory with a great look. They do a great job screening and turning to the basket.
Klein Hurd has now got 7 points. We said we were going to keep up with those people trying to replace.
He's nice.
Lewis knocks down the 3.
Your point on the center by committee is well taken, too. He's taken a lot of contributions. Tough one again, under duress.
Whoa. And Ivory with the foul. Wow, that could have been really, really serious as Eric Harris had his legs taken out from under him. And the crowd, they just kind of lost air there for a second. Timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them. 16 left to play. Minnesota by 6.
Everybody moving out. Nice little screen. And this is what you call a slip. Screen, a little help by Quincy with the hand hedge, and go right to the basket. And thundering to the hoop. Jazzy. Klein Hurd.
Well, he's got 7 points.
And Dad looking on as well. Got to make him feel good.
Jossie, freshman out of Houston, Texas, played at St. John's High School. Working on that offense. We talked about he is very adept at rebounding. Interesting, Lewis has scored 7 of the 10 second-half points for Minnesota. So Quincy has stepped it up.
Quincy always plays within himself. That's what's impressive. Nice hesitation here.
Shannon tries to get the tip to go in, and it won't. That's going to rule. That's 3 on Jacobson.
You got it. That little reach in, and that's the play that Sandin has to complete. There's no foul if he puts the basketball in. He's just a little off where he would like to be. They have to take Sam out. Now that certainly hurts their offensive trust up front. Tarver and Sandin, not the kind of guys that are going to ring the bell consistently.
Little 1-3-1 here.
Yeah, they did it one trip early in the game. And they will occasionally trap out of this too. Nice step in. They stepped out.
Yeah, Quincy Lewis made the steal and then stepped across the line, as Bill said.
Well, that's one thing you can't do in life. Step across the line. And lately, the way they're giving tickets in New York, you better not step across that line.
The cabbies are in a bad mood up here.
Well, the mayor wants to make sure we all walk within the nice hands. Big, Lewis.
Tarver couldn't get the tip, and both Tarver and Lewis got jammed pretty hard, and Quincy winds up with it. How in the world?
You mentioned Tarver. He made that play. He's wincing in pain, but what an effort by Miles Tarver. He's a quiet warrior. He's not going to get the glitter and the lights. But right here, the ability to control it enough. And look at Tarver keeps it alive, and Quincy, who plays within himself, he knows he's going to walk, so he just gets it up, but keeping it alive for the finish. Not too bad.
Oh, Klein Hurd now with 3 fouls. 14 points for Lewis. So you got 15 for Jacobson, 15 for Clark, 14 for Lewis.
And Lewis out at the point makes it tough to reverse the bit. Look at this slot jumper, wide open. I'll tell you, that was right on it.
That was a long way out there, Mr. Rector.
Well, the 1-3-1, they're not going to be able to get the looks they want consistently, and he has not had those opportunity shots with any frequency.
Largest lead of the night by 9 by Minnesota, and they just turned it over. Not good communication that time.
Not a good angle, and Sandin locked in. He can't move to the basketball. Penn State's got to find a way, and it's going to be the corner and diagonal. Let's see, the 1-3-1. Make Kevin Clark run a couple of times, and then he's going to have to go diagonally for a shot.
Grays for 3.
Good ball movement. They stuck with a little overload. They got to step up the D.
Grays has got 8. That's a couple of trays for him.
Now the perimeter people have to guard. They have to play their men. Lewis, Clark, and Harris. There's not as much inside threat right now on the floor. And that's not what you need, because you're going to get help in the back now, because you're going to lay off those post people. Around the horn. The ability to move the basketball, make the zone slide. Little ball fake, make believe you're going to reverse and back, because Clark had committed to the rim and for ball reversal. Nice action by Penn State. So they want to force him left. He's not as tough going left. Well, they get steps as Lewis caught it. Quincy. Jerry's got them hanging tough. Offense has been the problem more than anything.
That's what I was talking about with Lisicky, who, as we looked a moment ago, he is now 1 of 8 on the field.
Nice fill by Hurd, and Harris gets the reach in.
Well, tomorrow night on ESPN, it's the women's national semifinals, 7 o'clock. It's North Carolina State taking on Louisiana Tech. Then at 9 o'clock Eastern, it's an SEC rematch as Arkansas meets #1 Tennessee. That's tomorrow on ESPN. Ron Franklin, Bill Raftery, coming to you from Madison Square Garden in this year's final of the National Invitation Tournament. Minnesota and Penn State.
And Ron, now they go that flat 3-2, so Clem bringing it all out here, trying to confuse it and trap out of it. Nice job.
They get the turnover. They got numbers. Quincy Lewis not there. Clark in the follow.
With the cleanup.
Oh, Lewis to Clark. They're heading northwest.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Oh, and no advanced scout either. Oh, that's just terrific manipulation by Clem. Change the look. You think you're going to get the corner jumper, and they go flat 3-2, and the trap stimulates a little offensive thrust. No canoes, but they do go north by northwest. All right, as Clark is there to clean up the debris. And Clem's a man-to-man guy. And the turnovers helping him, huh?
Boy, look at the second half.
Getting some points off them. Well, you do anything you can do to win. Remember he gave us that talk on Tuesday? Defensively, whatever it takes. And he's got some wrinkles tonight. And Tarver's tough out there, too, at the point. Big arms. Now they get a good look. Nice overload.
Lisicky now 2 of 9. But both are threes. He's got 7 points.
Now the key to that was they stayed up near the foul line and gave him room to roam.
Clark.
Lost it. I talked about changes. Jerry Dunn now gets a little wrinkle as they run Lisicky baseline, but they move the basketball up closer to the foul line in the overload, and like all dads, dying, trying to look cool and relaxed. And I'm sure you've gone through that in your career, watching your child play.
Yep. But Dad knows he's 2 of 9 tonight. He knows he's not shooting his best, but can come out of it at any time because he's that kind of streaky shooter.
Well, he's got to take the open shot. Just don't force him. Use good shot selection.
Hanging, that's a nice assist almost to Clyde Hurd.
Well, he's become a great passer because he knows he draws so much attention. He can find people that are going to come after him. And because he gets the hedge, he drags people. You see Quincy go with him? They got a double team on a dribbler. And that's because he's so effective getting the puppies going. And Hurd almost gets that one to rattle home. That's what you call a little decoy. People say you expect him to score. Well, it's hard because all the defenses are preparing to shut down Pete Lisicki.
Tarver with his second foul.
Number 54, Carl Jackson, replaces Chelsea Clyde.
So Carl Jackson comes back into the lineup, and Clyde Hurd will go to the bench.
Gave him good minutes.
We have played 8 minutes of this second half.
And this is where Jacobson might be tough if they load him up down in the box. Lisicki fronts. Look at the two. They both go great without the basketball. This is where it's a little too tough. Nice gamble play by Lisicki.
Lewis comes back and takes it away.
Oh, oh, come back down, Sam.
Sam,
we believe. Oh, send it in. Mr. Jacobson. Was he soaring enough for you?
6-point lead.
And that was not meant for Booth. That was for Grays, but the big guy felt it was his turn.
At the other end, Quincy Lewis.
Nice penetration. That's Harris's game.
Look at this. Jacobson, Clark, and Lewis all with 17 points.
And think they're doing it without the inside kind of contribution. See how they draw people? Not a good foul either. And Quincy usually so smart. He gets number 3 on a small change number. But Sam to the rack. And he will look at this the rest of his life. In the guard. Up with the best of them.
There's a company out there in the business of moving things.
17 points. Mr. Clark has 17 points, and Mr. Lewis has 17 points. And those 3 guys, 51 points for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, 51 of their 55, Bill.
I was down at the high school All-American game, as you know, last night, and there were a number of scouts there. And a lot were talking about Sam Jacobson. The NIT, they feel he stepped up his game. He's shown maybe a stronger personality about scoring and leading. And maybe elevating his game just a little bit. I've been impressed. He's got strength, takes hits, makes goals, good range, elevation, athletic. Along with Lewis and Clark, you don't need a history book to figure that one out with those points.
Plus the fact the other added attraction you get with Sam is very few words. He just plays the game.
He does.
Team guy.
He sure is. They go 1-3-1 here. A little action on the sideline. He might be able to get a quarter jumper or an elbow jumper. There it is.
Too hard off the front iron. Here comes Eric Harris. Clark on the right wing. He'll go to the line for a couple, unlucky on that one. An opportunity to make it a 3-point play.
Did you inhale the fumes as Clark went by? I mean, he gets those puppies motoring. Streamline age. And what a fill to complement the center position there on the fast break. You got to get help when you're in the middle. If guys don't run, good things don't happen. And Clark put it in overdrive to get to the line.
Graves with that foul. That's his first, and the team foul is number 4 on Penn State in the second half. For the Golden Gophers, they have 5 team fouls.
Some fine for Clem when you think of it, Kevin, coming in, doing such a solid job.
Well, he has definitely done that. Junior out of Savannah, Georgia.
Little flex. Now here's a down screen to get Lisicki, and they trail him. There's that little dish too. Good sleight of hand.
Jacobson almost lost it. Good quick hands by Titus Ivory. So they set the half court. You know who's been totally silent in this second half? It's Mr. Booth.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of touches. I think the zone has negated him.
Harris blocked by Booth.
And on cue, huh? As you said, been silent on the defensive end as well.
They hear us. I know they do.
I'm sure they do.
Clark, and he's running 2 from behind, and that's going to be on Titus Ivory.
That's one of those that you didn't want to. The strength of Ivory, obvious, but the one nice thing about Calvin Booth, he keeps the ball in play, helps the defender. Look at that soft, very much like Bill Russell. Not the ability, but the touch to keep it alive. That'll keep you smiling on the sideline, no matter which twin is over there.
333 career blocks. 9-point ball game. Penn State's got to be careful here as we're under 10. Jacobson hanging, airballed. They save it. 3 on the way, not there. Ooh. And Kevin Nathaniel's going to pick up that foul. He just ran right over Crispin.
Well, he feels everything airborne is his with his background in the Air Force.
Ron Franklin, Bill Raftery, glad to have you along. The NIT Championship coming from Madison Square Garden, of course, in Gotham. Had pretty weather the last couple of days.
And the players have had a ball here.
Yeah, they always do. It's a great experience for them. And for teams, normally teams are young. That 3 is not there. And they try to save it. It goes right back to Tarver.
Well, they now are even up. As I said, they had a 5-on-4. Good kick. And that's the... Tarver will not take that one. Maybe when he goes home and works on it.
He's been told.
Yeah.
I asked that today at the shoot-around. I said, the other night he started to take a shot and like the light came on. And they said, you bet. He's been told, right, you're there to play defense and rebound.
And he pays attention to the boss.
Everybody does when Clem talks. Graves pushes it up.
Good call. And Sam Jacobson may have given a little shove to help the cause for Minnesota.
Possession error says the other way.
He really got stuck a little too far from the hole on this one. Had to put it down. The defense could react beautifully. Nice presentation. And Lewis can do that. I mean, he was called instant offense. He and Harris are extraordinary defenders as well.
So with 8:20 to play, this is the largest, or equals the largest lead by Minnesota, and they're trying to take it into double figures, and Booth says no as he rebounds.
Well, they got a cross court. They didn't find them. Lisicki, pretty dish. How about that?
Hurd, yeah, that's good ball movement.
Solid basketball. Crisp in with the dish.
Klein Hurd, double figures.
Solid. Now they had to step up. You mentioned early on the committee.
Backdoor cut. Quincy looked away. Tarver knew he was going to be there, and he threw it off his ankle.
And you know what was wrong with that round? There was traffic around. The problem now is his free throw shooting. Hurd is finding a hole around 49–50%. But getting to gaps, so important. The breakdown and nice presentation. Crispin, like point guard should do, sets guys up.
Now problems for Clem Haskins as Quincy Lewis has 4.
Ooh.
And he moves down the bench and takes a stop in front of Broxy, and he'll send him into the lineup as Klein Hurd picks up point number 11.
And Quincy's heart and soul of this club, I think. Solid. Both ends of the floor. Very patient basketball player. I see Chuck Swenson over there talking to Pete Lisicki just to calm him down. Booth as well. I mean, both staffs, to keep these guys and their heads in the game all year long, have to be commended. Both assistants, groups.
Well, a lot of noise in the Garden tonight. Penn State brought 22 buses from State College. Over 1,000 students. As Clark says, let me put on a show for you.
You can't be sick and do that. You'd come up dizzy. I was dizzy watching the twirl.
He's got 21.
Just breaks the D down.
Crispin said, well, you're not going to guard me. I'm going to pull up at 8 and swish it.
Well, if they stay at home, you're going to get the shot. Nice decision.
Under 7 to play in the championship game.
A lot of hearts ticking out there right now. What a pick by Broxy.
Titus Ivory is going to check his lower dentures. Jacobson does not get the shooter's roll on that one.
Man-to-man last few trips, Ron.
All those kids that came from State College trying to pick up their ball club. They know that the clock now is becoming an enemy.
My goodness, did he get a line out of that step.
Little different route to get there. The outlet pass. It's a 1-on-2, but he walked. No, he did not, and he's fouled.
One-man fast break. He doesn't care about numbers, Ron. He can count, but he still believes in his ability to bounce. And I think you may be right the way he gathered his feet. That was an NBA hop, step, and a little soft shoe. Count them now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. That's a no-no. And a chance for 3. That's a killer. But this is just extraordinary. Take away the sideline. You get some help. Just spin and weave and knock it down with a little kiss. He is tough. Getting to the rim.
The other night, 21 points was an equaling of his career high. He had 30 that night, and he's now got 22. So Kevin Clark loves playing in New York City.
You can beat the boat show rush by coming out to Rapid Sport Marine Center now and taking advantage of their
2:53 our score, Minnesota, and largely on the strength of Kevin Clark with his performance tonight at 24 points. He had 30 the other night. In fact, we talked with Clem Haskins earlier today about having the flu at the shoot-around and it coming back for a career high.
Well, number one, it's just amazing he recovered from about 12 o'clock, between 11 and 12 o'clock, a shoot around to game time. He was really physically couldn't hardly do anything in practice, and within 7 hours, he really snapped out of it. The first half, he's a little bit sluggish, but the second half, he really kicked in gear and played where he's capable of playing. He's a very good defensive player. He's a very explosive young man, and really shot the ball extremely well for us in the second half.
And, of course, Clem would be the first to tell you he taught him that spin move.
Oh, absolutely. He's also taught him to go north by northeast. Played off of your words earlier because he has found a little magic and home at the Garden.
Under 6 minutes. Way outside as Crispin. That was well outside that NBA line.
Yeah, that's not one you like, right?
No. Yeah. And Jerry Dunn just really kind of looked at the ceiling and then the floor after that one by young Joe Crispin.
Well, he settled. Run some. You can always get that one. A little weave. This is your vintage. Did you weave in high school?
Oh, always. And the Y also.
Use a little clock, get people moving defensively, and get this guy in the lane.
Clark. That one may be a little ill-advised.
Not a good one. 2 poor judgments in a row here, Penn State and Minnesota. Miles, I think, for a little body rub. Number 3 is starting to mount up a little bit. Lewis coming up, just looked over. He's been down the road, so Clem can entrust him. They're not getting the limit.
Kevin Nathaniel will come out of the lineup as well, Broxy. And Quincy Lewis back in the ball game with his 4 fouls at the 5:17 mark. Boy, Jackson swishes it. I'll tell you what the committee has done, Bill. Klein Hurd's got 11. Jackson's got 4. And Stevenson has got 2. So by committee, that's 17 points for the folks that are playing inside. And when you look down at the fact that Jared Stevens averages 14 points a game, that's picking up the slack pretty well.
Nice to see under the gun adversity. Step it up.
They got to get some perimeter shooting to go for them. Some threes, though. Down by 8. We're headed under 5. The clock is beginning to fast forward on it.
And they're trying to get Jacobson established. Lisicky, nice help. Was the turnover.
Now this is going to go the other way. Possession arrow says Penn State. Tune into ESPN tonight at 9:30 for college basketball's high risers and long range gunners. It's the slam dunk and three-point championship. The three-point competition, you'll see Virginia's Deadeye Curtis Staples. And from Kansas, out of Shreveport, Billy Thomas. How about the slam dunk competition? Look for Felipe Lopez. And also from Cincinnati, Ruben Patterson. That's tonight, as soon as we're done here at the Garden with this NIT championship, slam dunk and three-point championship.
I think it's important for Penn State not to settle for that jumper run. Get into their sets now. Get Booth moving a little bit. Big trip for them. They clear out Booth.
Well, Klein Hurd, I don't know if he was not set to take the shot or didn't know he was going to get the ball.
And he ends up in frustration getting that foul. Number 4. I think the angle, and he was 3/4 away from the rim. Gar a little concerned there. Ended up with a pretty good shot, too.
Yeah, it was not bad. In fact, when he got the ball, Bill, he's only 6 feet away.
Both coaches have done a marvelous job bringing these programs to this final game. I mean, it's not been an easy road. See, Jerry Dunn, his guys, Mike Boyd, Chuck Swenson, Christian Appleman, and Clem's guys this time of year. Jerry's got the cue card. We're not the only guys that need help, huh? And of course, Clem at the other with Bobby Jones, Charles Cunningham, Bill Brown, and Brent Haskins. Familiar name, his son. AA, administrative aide.
So, Bill, we have just gone under 4.5. Way outside Lisicky now. If that is something of what is to come, all of a sudden Jerry Dunn got a reason to smile for a second here.
Now, he makes that because he ran his man baseline and then curled back out, and they timed the pass to coincide with the cushion. Here's the pop back out, and now it doesn't look like much room, but he's got that ability to turn in the air and get the shoulders faced at the 10.
During that break a moment ago, I was looking to see what his numbers were. He's still only 30%, 3 of 10, but 2 of those, well, actually 3 of them, all 3 of them are threes, because he's now got 10 points.
Well, you know, you're a golfer. It's the next shot that counts. You got to hang tough. And he can't, and a good shooter and scorer has a mentality. They don't worry about what transpired. You just keep going. Get your legs in motion. They're queued up to screen for him. He just has to provide setting his man up, the defender.
Well, all of those threes have come in the second half. Remember, we said he was 0 for 3 with 1 point at the intermission.
Here's a lead we saw earlier. Sam with Crispin. Boy, if he gets to the box and they get him, he should be able to dominate. He's in the 3-second lane. They don't get it to him.
Shot clock under 10. Harris. Well, he dished it off. Now here's Lewis. So there's a timeout. 3:47 left in the ball game. It is Minnesota.
Introducing the Sicilian pizza from Pizza Hut. This ain't no ordinary pizza. It's a date with the Bomb Squad. It's oregano, basil, and garlic packed so tightly into the crust of
7. Minnesota leading.
Well, the idea on all the switches is to get Jacobson a little guy. He times the duck in here, pins his guy, but the ball isn't delivered. Crispin fights for a spot. You can see from the top, they harass the passer, thus negating the good little post position. And Crispin, a feisty defensive stand.
We'll show you the job Penn State has done in the second half. Jake had 15 points at halftime. He only has 2 here in the second half.
And partially because of that type of defense.
You see the numbers fairly close. Free throws, well, 9 of 10 for Minnesota. Points off turnover, also in Minnesota's favor. Well, the Nittany Lions want to win this title. They got to start making some things work. We're under 4 minutes left in our championship game.
And Clark all over Lisicky. They're trying to ride him on the hip.
Crispin can't get it, and Quincy Lewis will grab the rebound. The trap on Clark, steps between him, and Crispin picks up the foul. And Crispin turned around to Jody Sylvester and said, "My bad." He slammed the ball to the floor.
Well,
Ted Valentine kind of looked out of the corner of his eye.
He showed bad hands on that play. You're going to get upset. You got to do it discreetly. Nice piece of officiating, though. They thought they had a lot of hands in here. You can see Joe. He got everything but the wallet.
You're right. If he had caught it coming up, they would not have noticed.
Out in the street, they put the handcuffs on him.
Misses the front end of that 1-and-1. Lisicky with a big rebound. Lions trail by 7, and cheerleaders trying to get up some of those 1,000 students that bust up here from down at Penn State. Deep in the corner, and how about Titus Ivory?
Titus, everybody thinking Lisicky. He stepped up magnificently.
Now the Minnesota fans saying, "Hey, we can make some noise as well." They got a huge contingent here tonight.
Look at this elevation.
Nice job of getting Booth up in the air and out of control.
Patience, too. Just waited for him to come back down, and Booth, excellent at staying on the floor.
This is when you expect those seniors to take it over, Bill.
And look at this tough shot that's going down. Up. Yeah, I think they got Ivory down in the lane.
He was holding on to his leg. I mean, that's a definite hold. That's his 4th.
Now, the only thing with Pete Lisicky's shot, maybe the pace. Run a little bit. If that's what you get in a few seconds, fine. And he knows he's trying to light it up. Maybe just rub his guy a couple of times. They are doing a great job on him, incidentally. I mentioned Kevin Clark. It's been a tag team with Harris as well on occasion.
To go down.
Used a little body work there, huh?
Had to have it. That one kind of wallowed like that 3-pointer the other night.
Just sort of cradled in there. Well, we mentioned last night St. Raymond's. Gary DeCesar does a great job up there. A lot of fans here. A lot of pressure on him. Opened up a new gym up at St. Raymond's.
4 points for him. Eric averages about 14 per outing. But boy, his other teammates have stepped up huge tonight. Clark with 24, 19 for Lewis, 19 for Jacobson.
Now, Lisicky has to be careful. He's banging nice hands by Harris.
And he just picked up another foul. That's 3 on him.
Well, they told him to stay at home on Joe Crispin. And Eric Harris indeed obeys and pays heed to the coach. But right here, if you can't get free. Now, watch Lisicky with the elbow. That's how frustrating Kevin Clark has been. He's been wearing Pete all night. You can see great composure as well by Kevin Clark.
So there's a break in the action. Gophers by 8. We'll be right back.
Looking for luxury? Take the alternate route. I'm the Millennia by Mazda.
Patterson and friends will say thank you very much in the 98 Slam Dunk and 3-point championship from San Antonio. But now it's back to the Garden. Business to settle there, guys.
Okay. Well, as we mentioned off the top of the telecast, kind of a sad moment for 3 guys, particularly in this ball game. Pete Lisicky, a senior out of Whitehall, Pennsylvania, played at Whitehall High School, and the last time that he's going to wear the blue and white of Penn State. And it's been an okay night for him, but by his standards, it has been below standard. On the other side of the court, A couple of guys that are wearing their colors for the last time. Sam Jacobson and also Eric Harris. As you're looking at Eric right there. From the Bronx, as Bill mentioned, out of St. Raymond's. And there's Jacobson, Cottage Grove, Minnesota.
And they've been to the mountain the Final Four last year, and this year struggled out of the gate. But I just believe the seniors stuck together and lifted this program to these heights.
No, I don't think you can say enough for this team and for Clem and his staff. But they lost their first 6 conference games. We saw them early, as we mentioned, on Tuesday against Cincinnati. Back early in December, they weren't very good.
You were writing the obituary.
And they have, here they are with a 10-point lead and just over 2 minutes left to play in the championship game of the NIT.
And now you've got to run your quick hitters. They're trying to go to Booth, elevate strong, and he didn't shoot it. Got it up on the palm, and that hit the clock. Miles couldn't grab hold. If you're Minnesota, challenge shot, don't foul, rebound. And I think you've got to drive to the goal now a little bit if you're Penn State, or the option of Calvin Booth. Got to get to the foul line at some point. Jumpers usually don't get you there. Nice play by Lewis.
Well, that's going to be his 5th foul.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know.
Look at Clem. Look at Clem. Is
on an inbounds pass like that, it's not a thing. I mean, he's as entitled to the ball as.
I think you're right. I think we're going to play on, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that changes. You mentioned leadership. The seniors, well, a big lift generally by Quincy Lewis, the junior.
19 points for Quincy as he leaves. 15 in the second half.
And they're going to go big because of the lob. And Bird goes forward. And there might be some banging right there, but gee.
But he's inside.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough call. He thought it was going the other way.
If anything, it's a no call.
And you know what? And this is partly Clem, too. Look at the self-control. Now, we've all been at games where when something goes awry like that, there's a show or a venting of emotion that's not typical of the college scene. So it's a lot of credit to that guy. He knows. I think that's why they got better this year. That rapport and that relationship that he's spawned and developed.
By the way, for Klein Hurd, career high, 12 points.
My dad is here, so he wants to show him a little bit. Oh, that's a shame. In traffic, he ended up having to dribble it because he lost control.
Dribbled it off his toe.
Good effort, though, by Miles Tarver.
9-point game, 1:55 to play. Minnesota leading. Lisicki under all kind of duress. Crispin for 3. Got it.
They don't go away. They were trying to get a timeout. They didn't get it. And good stopping of the clock.
Lisicki with the foul.
They got a lot inside those shirts, though. He's got them played to a high level, too. They're not going to go away. They're going to make it as tough as they can. After the miss, the rook with a little nylon delivery. They got to believe, too, that bench.
1:45 to play as Clark steps to the line. As we mentioned, Penn State won the first game in the regular season, 75-68. Minnesota won the second game, 82-77. But the Golden Gophers were down 43-28 at halftime in that second game and had to come back.
A little speed goes in now, get Nathaniel in the game. There isn't one play that either team isn't aware of that the other possesses. And that's what's made it such a tough cutting and screening game. They're very aware defensively.
26 points for Clark, and they got it. Nicely done.
And they get the timeout. How about Crispin? Makes the 3. Then the pass that leads Calvin Booth. And a nice piece of preparation by Jerry Dunn. Just a gorgeous execution. You'll see this just as Crispin saw it. Nice back screen, set it up. Good solid play by Penn State. And that was almost a switch necessitated by the screen. You got to take the legs of Calvin Booth out.
So the reset on this one. Penn State now with no timeouts. They have already committed 10 team fouls. For Minnesota, 2 and 2. 2 full, 2 to 20. Might see him take one of those 20s to reorganize, but they're up by 6 and they just want it to run. We have 94 seconds left. The NIT and the Big Ten, a lot of success. Penn State third in the 90s. In 90, I should say. 93, Minnesota won it. Third place for Penn State in 95. And, of course, Michigan won it last year. And the other thing we talked about on Tuesday night, Bill, is the parallel between this and the NCAA tournament of teams that make it to Madison Square Garden generally the next year in the NCAA tournament not only make it to the NCAAs but do pretty well.
Are competitive and able to light it up. Well, I think it's a confidence builder for a program. It also gives you the ability to talk to players and tell them you've been in a postseason tournament. And Lisicky out there trying to win one before he waves goodbye to Penn State. They got to get their press set up. They don't want to give up the long one, so they got Ivory back.
3 points, slam dunk competition from San Antonio coming up as soon as this one is over. And we have 90 seconds left in this championship game for 1998.
And now they're going to play straight up. They don't want to foul now. They're going to commit to forcing a tough shot and rebounding.
Pushing Harris out as far as they can.
They got a 5-second call. What a break. Oh, my goodness. And Hurd is the guy. Jazzy out there attacking.
That's a 13th turnover against Minnesota. 6-point ball game.
I think they were, oh, Joe.
Pulled it off his foot.
Can't cross over in front of a guy like Eric Harris. He knows, too. Oh, he just 2 big-time plays, the 3 and the pass. But check this out. Anytime you got a good defender, you got to get it on the side and get the off arm to protect.
Joe Crispin 4 fouls. 2 shots for Jacobson. Minnesota's only missed 2 tonight. They're 15 of 17 from the line. And they are a real good free throw shooting team in clutch time, because the other night, in case you were not with us for the semifinals, in overtime they were 10 of 10 at the free throw line.
That number of 78% in crunch time for Sam, so a pretty good one. And here the step in, you don't want to foul, and Kevin trying to do everything defensively to negate the touch by Lisicky. Ends up stopping the clock and just mark these 2 down. One of the premier free throw shooters in the country, 93%.
You can see Quincy Lewis on a knee over there on the bench. He fouled out and won that clock to move on quickly and see a championship. He left us with 19 points for the ball game and 15 in the second half.
Tough when all you can do is cheer.
Yeah. Don't forget, slam dunk and 3-point competition coming up from San Antonio.
Got to give it right away, I think.
11 points for Lisicky.
Nice play by Sam. Yeah, I would have given it a lot sooner.
It's 5 on Crispin.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But you got to stop the clock. You can't worry about the numbers. Down the backcourt, I think they should have given it up.
It means that Greg Graves will come into the lineup, the freshman out of Southfield, Michigan.
I think Hurd was down there. He had the 4. He was afraid to give it up on the inbounds. And Joe, there'll be other nights. You're a talented guy. And that's how meaningful this is. You know what he's thinking about? The miscue with the bounce. He forgot about the 3-pointer and the great pass to Booth quickly. Joe using the time allotted. was the man that started playing off campus and bringing the Pete Colosimo, PJ's dad. Sweetheart of a guy. And when you think of these Big Ten teams that have been in this tournament and the crowds that they attract for their home games. Pretty solid down the stretch. That's what makes them tough. The seniors can make free throws.
Wow. So he left the door open. A small crack under a minute to play, but he missed them both. 7-point ball game. Minnesota. Lasicki, he'd just about take it from the subway station right now. And Ivory did. And Clark is going to dribble his way out of there, and then Ivory will foul him. And that's 5 on Titus Ivory.
And Kevin Clark can dribble his way out of any situation, I think. His understanding of sideline and distance with the defender, protects the basketball, and terrific acceleration. It's tough to handle. I remember as a kid playing in the NIT, and we lost, and it wasn't the championship round. And it's just it's over for that season.
Well, Titus certainly is disappointed. The other night he had such a strong performance of 11 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals, and he leaves tonight with a 3 in the first and a 3 in the second for a total of 6. And we mentioned everybody was going to have to step up in this game for Penn State because of the absence of Jarrett Stevens and the injury to his knee.
They certainly could have used him. There's no question. You just think of rotations and big bodies. And Minnesota, as competitive as they get, they can guard. It starts from there. And offensively, generally take real solid shots.
Well, look at this trio. Clark, Jacobson, and Lewis. 27, 23, and 19 for 60. What is that? 69 points.
Got your paycheck better.
That means everybody else scored, what, 4 and 2. 6 points beyond those 3 guys.
And Stevens can nothing but look on. Nice pass off the jumper by Lasicki.
76-69. Under 30 seconds. Harris gets mauled.
He got banged around there under the glass. Ended up in the corner with the double.
Reminding you again, we'll be heading to San Antonio as soon as this one is over, and we have 24.3 seconds. It's the 1998 Slam Dunk and 3-Point Championship in the Alamo City.
Well, a lot of the coaches will be heading out to San Antonio. Some of the stuff, Bobby Jones, they're going out Saturday. Assistant for Clem. Got to be a great deal of satisfaction with both programs.
.69 under 20, and it's going to be stolen by Clark.
How about this smart play by Kevin? Force them to use a little clock and then step in the lane, and they'll just give it out. I thought they'd just give it up. Hurd goes out now. That's the limit.
5 on him, you're right. So the third player for Penn State fouls out. Klein Hurd, and he leaves. It is a career high for him with 14 points.
And all the staff and players slapped 5. Because Kevin Clark wisely intercepted and held on. Didn't go to the rim. Used some more clock.
Well, those assistant coaches for Clint Haskins, Charles Cunningham, Bill Brown, Bobby Jones, and also the trainer Roger Shipper, who's done a good job of keeping this group together this week.
Roger
very happy over there.
Roger took care of my throat a couple of days ago as well. Yeah.
Had some of that snake bite medicine, did I noticed you had a snake when you came to practice.
He said it's the only throat that wasn't a problem because of flu. He was a busy guy, particularly taking care of Sandin and Kevin Clark, right?
Yeah.
And Eric Harris, they planned to get him back home. That was the motto as they approached the NIT.
Clark goes out, gets a big hug from his head coach. 28 points for Clark. What a performance.
Back to back, huh? 58.
Had 12 in the first half, 16 in the second half, Bill.
Imagine if he were on top of his health.
Harris just plays his final one, a senior. And Jacobson, well, he's still on the floor.
And what a thrill for him coming home to finish it all off.
Got the three deep in the corner. Brannon scores it. Clock is running, and this is going to do it. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are going to win the 1998 edition of the National Invitational Tournament by a final score of 79-72. So they repeat their feat of what they did in 1993, and they rode three very good jobs tonight offensively. 28 by Clark and 23 by Jacobson, and Lewis with 19. Congratulations again to Minnesota on winning this year's NIT. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's head to San Antonio for the Slam Dunk Three-Point Championship.
Welcome to the Alamo City of San Antonio, Texas, where we tip off a 5-day celebration of hoops. Tonight, our annual salute to the two most exciting plays in basketball. It's the College Slam Dunk and Three-Point Shooting Championship.